I'm Foster Thomas.
I'm Dasha.
I'm Josh the drummer.
I'm Pierre Casserin.
I'm Ryan Osten.
We're Musical Dropout.
This is Baby Jake.
I'm Kid Quill.
I'm Carter Cruz.
I'm Sugar Pit.
I am Christian Gates.
I'm Hayden.
I am Carly Hansen.
I'm Medium Build.
I'm Billy. I'm Anthony Russo.
I'm Eric Krasno.
I'm Bradley, and this is an experiment.
Today's guest is a singer, songwriter, rapper, and artist. He hails from Marblehead, Massachusetts, but has since made his way to Los Angeles, California. Please welcome today's guest, one of my close friends, Aristotle Jones. What's going on?
Yeah, thanks for having me.
The self-clap is always the best.
Yeah, well, you need a live audience.
Fair enough.
But I'll make up for it.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
We got our one live audience member.
Hell yeah. Yeah, there we go.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's it.
What's going on, dude?
Not much. Familiar circumstance on a Friday night here. I'm just glad to have been thought interesting enough to have my words recorded.
Dude, absolutely. I mean, you know how I feel about you as an artist. We went to your show, what was that, a month and a half ago?
Yeah.
And literally we were all standing in the front row with our fucking jaws dropped. I genuinely could not believe. It's not that I didn't expect for you to be good. It's that I didn't expect for anybody to be that much of a presence on stage, ever.
Thank you.
It was fucking insane.
That means a lot to me. Thank you.
And since then, we have luckily worked together a bunch through at coffee shops and done all that and talked about it. And now I know that you've cut your teeth more than just about anybody I know. You've played vile amounts of shows.
Yeah. Back in Boston, my band had like 2 residencies. And it was mostly just like super long form stuff. Like just covers, like rap covers pretty much. Just doing like fucking Billionaire by Bruno Mars.
Absolutely.
A billion times. But yeah, definitely like doing that and not having like a real sense of stakes when I was performing and being able to feel comfortable for so long before getting like moving out here was definitely like, you know, invaluable. And I think it's like a part of artistry that's often overlooked is just like how different it is to perform like live as opposed to recording music or writing music. And there's just like an entirely different world and set of skills and like confidence that you have to give yourself that isn't there when you're in a room.
At what point did you start feeling like that version of the confidence where you're not only confident in doing your music, but you're confident in controlling a crowd and maintaining the focal point throughout the whole time and keeping it exciting? Like how many shows in did you start feeling like that was something you could do consistently?
Like admittedly pretty early, honestly, because as much of a dick it makes me sound like I like the attention and like having just like kind of sway over an entire group of people that were all there to like see what I was doing and what the people who had dedicated their time to me, like my band, was doing. And I just thought that was really special and important.
Absolutely.
And it just made me feel bigger than I had felt just in my life at any point. I used to be a pitcher when I played baseball too. And I feel like there are some parallels there where like you're kind of in control of the flow and the tempo of everything. And if you decide to like stop, then nothing goes forward. And that's the same when you're playing a show.
That's an interesting correlation, but it makes a lot of sense. I mean, I can't stress it enough how fun it was and how exciting it is to see somebody who you obviously I really care about you and we're close friends outside of all this too. And seeing you on stage doing that, it was like, I don't know, you had your beer in your hand and you were just fucking going. You built a band too that is this perfect mixture of some of the stupidest artists or stupidest musicians I've ever seen. Mikey on drums is an absolute animal.
Shout out Mike Chapin.
And you had Ben playing a mixture of keys and horns.
Yeah, keys, synth, and horns.
That's insane. And he's another close friend. And then you had Noah on guitar, which doesn't get better than that kid.
Dude, literally one of the most virtuosic people I've ever met.
It's insane.
And he was like one of the first people I met when I came here too. Like,
oh, you met him here?
Yeah. And I think he only came here because of like Ben as well. And I think it was like some crazy connection from a different jam and he just ended up coming here. And I was under the impression that he'd been here for like way longer than me. But I guess we started coming at the same time, and I met him, and he's a great person, and also just luckily one of the rawest guitar players I've ever met.
Dude, that is ridiculous. I mean, first of all, this place, and I've talked about it a million times on this podcast, and I will talk about it a million more. But the fact that we have this like little community of just killers and all these people, like I didn't realize that Anu and Nicolina didn't know each other before this, and you and Noah didn't know each other before this.
Yeah.
And let alone those two groups meeting. And
No, the connections are kind of wild, like how everyone wound up here.
it's unbelievable. And just that stage. And there was one other person on stage with you, correct?
Oh yeah, my bass player, Jeremy.
So I don't know him as well, but he was killer. And just, I mean, if I didn't know that you guys all didn't know each other since you were 5 years old, I wouldn't believe it. Like it's ridiculous, the connection on stage. And I don't know, I guess that's just what happens when you get that many people that are that good at what you do on stage together.
Yeah, I'm super blessed to have them. I mean, Mike and Ben and Jeremy and I, to some extent, have been playing together for, like, not together, but we've jammed and have known each other and have played in similar circles, like, for like 5 years at this point, almost 6. So yeah, definitely, like, there was definitely a bunch of chemistry going into it, but just being able to kind of shift what I thought my sound was in Boston to what we're doing out here and have them be a part of it was really important. And just like shaping how I've made music since, and like how like the artistry in the show has progressed. And yeah, no, they're great.
It's insane. So I don't know your history when it comes to this and how you got here. I know that you know every lyric to every Mac Miller song I've heard so far. But kind of break down where it started and how you got into this place where you're rapping and writing and just the artistry behind it.
Sure, yeah. I took piano when I was like a little kid, and like my mom like made me do it, and I fucking hated it.
Shout out, Mom.
Shout out Mom, Grace. What's up? But yeah, no, I didn't really fuck with it at first because I was doing like classical stuff. And I kind of got back into it later in life when I was like in my early teens, which I'm glad I did because I use it a lot now. But honestly, I feel like the crux of it was I took a class actually in high school, like my sophomore year, and they gave me a free copy of Ableton, and it was like a music production, like, I don't know, like some intro to music production class. That was the first time it was ever being offered there, and it was the last because the dude who taught it like left the next semester. Shout out Nevade, my boy. He's in Nashville now. He taught me how to become a producer. Yeah, I took that class and I loved making beats, and my dad had raised me on like 80s and 90s hip hop because that was the stuff he used to listen to. He used to go to like Run DMC and like Beastie Boys shows and stuff.
So you're making your own beats too?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. That's insane.
Yeah, like all of the stuff during the set is stuff that I produced.
That's crazy.
Makes it a lot easier to arrange it for a live show.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I became a producer first. And I just really like making super like sample heavy, like reminiscent of like 90s boom bap hip hop stuff, because that's the stuff that really resonated with me. I was like 15 and I was like, there's no one that I know who raps, and no one that I DM will respond to me. So I'm going to start writing shit over it because I like hip hop. And when I was younger, I wrote a lot of poetry and did like creative writing and stuff. And I always wanted to be, if I wasn't a musician, I would have done something like in the English literature, liberal arts area.
I mean, that makes sense. Your vocabulary is unparalleled.
Thanks.
It really is insane. Like, even just while we're sitting outside talking about bullshit, your vocabulary is crazy.
It's part of the job. I gotta have a verbose dialect. Fuck, what was I talking about?
How you started and that you got people rapping.
Oh yeah. I couldn't find anyone to rap on my shit, so I was like, I'll do it. And then I was like 15. I like released the first song that I did, and it was fucking garbage, like just trash, and like like a lot of people clowned on me, which I definitely needed. But it also at the same time made me like, I was like, I'm never gonna rap again. Like, I'll produce, like I'll make beats and stuff, but I'm never gonna do that again because that was humiliating. Which is like how if you start anything is how you're gonna be.
Absolutely, you got to be
I just
new.
shouldn't have released it yet. Like,
But clearly you should have, because it was an impetus to you understanding that that's just part of how it works, and you're going to get more no's than you will yeses to start, and that will be outweighed for a minute.
yeah, for sure. And then I just like, I kept at it. I slowly got more like back into writing. I would freestyle with like my friends in high school. We would just get high and like freestyle in our room. And I was always better than them. So
It just worked out.
yeah, it just kind of worked out like that. But yeah, I got back into writing and rapping slowly as my ego recovered, and I got better at it. And then I didn't even think about pursuing music as a career or even like a passion really until I was like 17, which makes me really jealous of people that knew that they wanted to do it their whole life, because like y'all had such a fucking head start. Like,
Yeah, but sometimes that head start leads to preconceived ideas of what it needs to look like.
oh, absolutely.
And that'll be your greatest failure.
Yeah, but they're raw though.
True.
If I started rapping when I was like 7 years old,
Yeah, but you are already. You have that. What, you know?
yeah, but I'd be like RZA.
Yeah, but RZA wants to be like you.
Nah. I don't think he does.
No, I just talked to him. He does.
Oh, okay.
Verbatim. Yeah.
Cool. Just slide me his number. Like, that's one of the people I DM.
Have you heard back yet?
No, it's been like 7 years.
Come on, RZA. What the fuck's going on?
Nah,
Get into your DMs. Don't be a
it's a
bitch.
trash beat. You don't want it. Yeah, it was pretty much just kind of a coincidence that I took a class and I fucking loved it. And just the creative aspect of it, especially like reinterpreting, like sampling stuff, just like as an art form was always so interesting to me. How you can take elements from like a past piece of media, whether it be like a song, which is like most common, or just like even quotes from like radio or like old television. Like I think repurposing that for like a new artistic medium was always just like super mind blowing to me. As is like creating and writing music.
Yeah.
Like I think that's insane as well. But like having the wherewithal to hear something and then reinterpret it with your own lived experience as the only basis for like what it goes forward as. I think that's just like really interesting.
Absolutely.
And like a way I've always thought about it is like, as a musician, like every experience that you've like literally ever had is contributing to what you're playing and like what your identity is as an artist. Because like I have friends that like, they're like, oh, I'm not shedding right now. Like I need to practice more. And I feel like at the same time, like living your life and experiencing things and just like emoting is so much of what music is and informs so much of what we do in a musical sense.
Yeah.
And I've always just thought that, you know, like every butterfly effect decision in your life has led you to make like what you just made, and it would be completely different if different things had happened, which is like kind of obvious now that I say it out loud.
Yeah, but it is this weird, like it's as obvious as it is. It's also like a weird understanding that that's going to be a continued realization throughout your whole life when you start seeing these little pieces. I forget who it was, but years ago somebody told me you'll never be able to see the picture until you're 5 feet out. So why look? And it's kind of true, because when you look back, you can start seeing all these little connections. But while you're in it, it just feels like, sometimes it just feels like a bitch, and nothing the puzzle pieces don't fit together.
Totally.
And then now you're out in Los Angeles and you realize that all of those pieces fit perfectly the whole time.
Yeah. I am definitely glad that I chose to move here.
And what was the path to Berkeley?
I lived in Boston. It was really easy to visit. It was, I don't know, it's like a storied institution. I was just like, I applied to like 3 music schools, and if I didn't get into those, I was resolved to myself that I would just like get a degree in something else. And then like, I don't know, continue making music, but it kind of felt like a little bit of a make or break for me. And then I got rejected, or I got waitlisted at NYU, and then fucking Miami rejected me. And then Berkeley let me in on early acceptance. So I just said yes in January, and then spent the rest of the year getting shit-faced as like an 18-year-old.
Absolutely.
It was spectacular.
What's the process of getting into Berkeley? Don't you have to like try out with multiple instruments, or some sort of, I don't know. I've heard so many different versions of it.
Yeah, bro. They got like a bunch of barbed wire you got to crawl through while like playing a French horn. It's fucked up. Saw a bunch of people go down. You submit like, honestly, it's so long ago. Like I'm trying to remember as well. Like you submit something, like some work or like a video of you playing, and then they call you back for an in-person audition. And I got into Berkeley originally for keys, but I didn't stick with it because they just wanted me to be fucking Mozart.
Yeah.
And like Beethoven. Not Mozart. Actually, he's sick, actually.
I mean,
not
so
to,
far, all those people are pretty rad.
not to depreciate, Beethoven's a really good piano player, actually. Like, I've seen some shit of him yamming on like a grand. He's good.
He's got the sauce.
But yeah, I originally got in for keys, and I went in there and I played a couple pieces for them, prepared pieces, and then did some like improv, and then they played some shit, and I had to tell them what they were playing and play back. And that was kind of it, honestly. Like, it wasn't really a high-stress environment. They're all super chill. There was a dude sitting next to me. I remember when I went to audition, he was like fucking freaking out. And I was like, that makes me feel way better, actually, because this dude's stressed, and I'm not.
But I feel like you kind of have that demeanor in general where you just kind of take the situations as they come. Have you always been like that, or was that just a confidence in your abilities?
I don't know. Just like, I try not to go into things with like a sense of dread, because I feel like that is never productive. I like to think of myself as like a cautious optimist. Where, I don't know, sometimes things do get very overwhelming and I need to take like a break and I get like a little bit frazzled, but I think just like keeping in mind the bigger picture and like the parts of my life that I'm super grateful for, like outside of whatever pertinent emotion is kind of like running through me, is like just super important to remember. Just to keep kind of perspective on everything.
Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, that makes sense. So like, what would you tell some kid fucking comes up to you right now and they go, hey, I'm a piano player and I want to be a rapper and I want to go to Berkeley. Would you tell them that that's the right idea? Do you feel like that was like had utility behind it, was useful, or would you tell them to just come straight out here and just start going?
I don't know, because truthfully, I feel like Berkeley's definitely not a thing that is for everyone. Might not have been for me towards the end, honestly. Like, I'm eternally grateful for like the people that I met and the connections that I made and just what I got to witness while I was there. But there's some parts of it that are just kind of antiquated, that if someone came up to me and they're like, oh, I want to be a rapper, I'm going to go to Berkeley, I'd be like, cool, you're going to be like, there's going to be like 4 of you.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Like, get used to it. Like, you'll stand out, but like, there's not a lot of resources available to like build you in a direction that you want to go.
I see. So there's like the dichotomy of understanding that you can be in a room and be the most special person.
Yeah.
Or you can be in a room and have better people around you, and maybe that's where you'll get a chance to learn from people that have more experience.
Yeah.
So you're kind of just shooting from the hip while you're there. I
mean, I'm very glad that I, as a producer and like a rapper, was just surrounded by so many talented musicians, first of all, because I never had access to that before. And not having to go on like YouTube and like really sketchily download some like 1970s Brazilian funk
some type
sample
beat or whatever.
Yeah, it was great because I could just ask my friends like, hey, like, can you let's link up, we'll smoke, we'll like lay something down, and it'll sound like something like that. But you can actually tell me what it is and like what key it's in, so I can like figure it out better on my end. But yeah, no, I don't regret Berkeley at all. I think if I wouldn't know anyone that I know out here if I didn't go there.
So even just for the community alone.
100%.
And did you feel like because you were in this group of people where there was very few of you, that you were like a commodity, that you had a lot of opportunity to work with other people because there was less competition per se?
To a degree. I think like rap is definitely like not, and hip hop in general is definitely not like the primary genre of like the people there, like what they're listening to, what like they're going out and seeing at shows, like Berkeley shows specifically. It was kind of an interesting like separation there. because I feel like it did give me a lot of opportunities, especially to like play and perform.
Yeah.
But like, there's always going to be very limited spots for that anyway. Like, it's all about, like getting out there, getting your name out, and being like pushy and annoying sometimes, but also just like delivering and being tight and fucking rocking shit.
Absolutely. Yeah, I feel like there you got a weird diversity of musicians and people trying to get those same spots, because you have the people that are currently enrolled that obviously want to be playing as much as they can and getting in the scene, and then you have the graduates who stay there, which is probably a decent amount, at least for a year or two. So you have a fuck ton of competition. It's probably the closest atmosphere to LA in the fact of everybody around you is trying to do the same thing.
Yeah. It's interesting though, because I came here and I had that expectation, and there are like people, like so many people whose singular focus is music, but there's also like so much else going on out here, which is like, was definitely very like eye-opening to me. Like there are people in like the fashion world and like film, like all over the place, like all these different arts and different kinds of mediums, which is just not like, it exists in Boston, but like it's not the cultural hub for those things as much as LA is.
Yeah.
Or at all.
That makes sense. If you could go back and talk to yourself back in college, what would you have done differently? If anything?
Probably like take a semester or two off during COVID, low key.
Oh, interesting.
That shit was whack.
Yeah, what was that like?
I'd still be there though. That'd be terrible.
So you were just on online classes while still being in the same city?
Yeah, I was in my apartment in Boston, like rotting, just like on Zoom, taking fat bong rips off screen, learning about like Phrygian modal scales while all the information just passed directly through my brain and
into the bong
into
water.
The smoke. Yeah.
Yeah, I could not have gotten through college. I didn't get through college in the first place without COVID, but I definitely couldn't have gotten through with COVID and doing it via Zoom. I hardly showed up anyways, but I guess that's just how it goes.
I mean, it made it a little easier because I could like cheat.
Yeah, fair enough.
But you gave me my degree already. You can't do shit about it. It's a little MIDI keyboard in my lap during like your training test.
Oh, that's actually smart as shit.
I'm sorry, but
yeah, as if every fucking kid wasn't cheating.
They're charging me hella money to fucking go to Zoom class.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
So now being out here, what is the difference as far as your career? Do you feel like you're at a place where you can just focus solely on your career? I know you obviously, most of us have to work out here in order to survive in the first place.
Yeah.
But do you see progression?
Yeah, I think definitely in certain aspects. Just in terms of like artistry, I think I've come a long way even since leaving Boston, which is like what you want to see, just like upward trend.
Yeah.
In terms of playing shows, I'm not playing nearly as many as I played back in Boston, but I think to a certain extent that's like good, just to give more time for the execution and like the development and the growth of like the music we play. Because I felt like at a certain point, like playing 100 shows a year, like you don't have a ton of time to work on the stuff that needs to be worked on or like make new music. Like you're just locked into that grind. And also with Berkeley, like I would do like 6 hours of music and then go home and be like, do I want to make more music right now? Or do I want to watch a movie or go outside?
Yeah, there's something about a time constraint and a life constraint where you have 8 hours to do a 10-hour job. You'll probably do better if you have 4 hours to do a 10-hour job. Just, at least for me, just based on the pressure.
Yeah.
Do you feel like since moving out here, you've had the chance to start getting more ready to actually give to the world versus just play?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely like gained a lot of confidence in my stuff. I think I made the best music that I've ever made since I moved out here, which, yeah, no, it is really exciting because there are definitely points in my life where I've like I've just like thought like, damn, I peaked, which is like so naive. Like I was like 19 being like, damn, I peaked. And I was like, you wrote that song like 8 months ago, dude, like chill out.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, no, I'm happy with where I'm at right now, and also having a job that allows me to interact with musicians and meet so many new people on like a weekly basis it's nice. Like I was working like service back in Boston. I would much rather be dealing with something that I'm passionate about, even if it's not in like necessarily the area that I am the most passionate about.
Yeah, but a similar vertical, which is helpful.
Yeah,
So just a little context for people, you book shows.
I do.
So also, if you're an artist out there and you need to book some shows, this man needs to fill some slots.
I book 19 shows a month.
Fucking
In Hollywood.
crazy. I got a couple people I need to connect you with. We'll talk about that after.
Yeah.
So what are you working on now? What can we expect? What's happening? What's coming out? Where do we get to hear you? Like, where are you at this moment?
Well, right now I have a bunch of stuff in the oven, as I always do. One thing that I wish I would have some growth in is just my ability to release shit and like move on from it. Like, I feel like I don't necessarily spend a ton of time on like a single thing, but it just stays and it just sits there. And the longer it does, the less I go from liking it to
Absolutely.
like not liking it anymore. But that being said, the thing that I'm most excited about right now is an EP that I have coming out soon with this producer named Mr. Anderson, who also went to Berkeley, lives up in Sacramento. Super talented. It's like very sample heavy, like 90s grungy hip hop, like boom bap stuff. And it's just stuff I can rap over. And like the most interesting thing to me, like from my personal standpoint and what I think is distinct about like my artistry is just like the way that words work and fit together and bounce off each other, and like the way that saying them in a certain order can make you feel a certain way, and like can like create this kind of link in your brain where you're like, that's just like satisfying. And like that's like, I think about fucking words all the time. Like,
Yeah.
it's stupid.
But it's not. That's what you do for a living, and that's what you'd like to do even more for a living, and that's what you do on stage. And I think I'd be worried if that wasn't the case. I mean,
No, but it's funny though, because there's a certain point where like words don't even mean anything to me anymore. Where it's like this is just like phonetic. Like it's just a sound that is based on a lot of different vocalizations and fucking vibrations that are coming from my mouth and my epiglottis.
fucking more big words. And that probably takes away from the impact of what they feel like they should mean to you.
Yeah, it's definitely important to, again, like step back in that situation as well, because I love like internal rhymes and just like fitting stuff together and like that MF Doom shit, but I feel like I also want what I'm saying to resonate what I give off just like in my everyday life. Like I feel like Aristotle is kind of like the extreme of my traits. Like I remember there's a bartender at Harvard and Stone where we played, and I came off stage and he's this big fucking, I don't know if he's Australian or British.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he's one of them. He sounds Australian, but I
He's
swear to
one
God,
of
he's got
them.
like a Union Jack tattoo. I don't know what that's about. But I came off stage, and I've been working there for a little bit, running shows. But he'd never seen me play, and he was like, "Oh, you fucking! If you were like that all the time, you'd be a right fucking cunt." And I was like, "You got a point, dude. Like, I wouldn't like me if I was like that all the time." And it's just like the over exuberance and the confidence that, like, I feel like in general I'm a pretty low key person, typically.
Yeah.
And just like letting all that out then is just like such a wonderful release. Just like being able to put all of that energy that is not kind of expunged through my everyday life into something that I'm like, I think is beautiful.
I think that's part of the art too, is that stark contrast of the person and the art.
Definitely.
And being able to have these two different beings that live within the same body and having a purpose for each. You know, like you said, you're a pretty low key but well-spoken human being in regular life, and you get to use one of those and bring it on stage and then put a different persona behind it, which is still you.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you have some character that you built. Like, it's still very much so you, but it's just a part that you don't feel like you need to use in everyday life because you have this other outlet for it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably a healthy alternative versus some kid who's out there and like, I don't feel like I'm the right person to be on stage, so I'm going to make this fake alternative identity. And then you're living behind a facade, which makes it really hard to then speak from the heart and also be honest when you're up there.
Totally.
Like, it still feels like you. It still feels, yes, it's Aristotle Jones, but it still feels like Ethan.
Yeah. I think that's what people resonate with a lot, especially in like today's landscape of music where like it is so oversaturated and like the bar of entry is so much lower than it's ever been, which is lovely. Like, it's amazing that people have access to be able to make music, but like being able to suss out who someone is and like how valid they're saying and what they're portraying is through their music is like, I feel like at least what's really, really important for me when I listen to music. Like, I want to feel like I'm hearing a reflection of the person that is like giving out this, like putting out this music.
How long have you been in LA now?
Just over a year. Can I vape?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Don't cut this part though.
What do you think the difference between who you are now versus who you were a year ago when you first moved out here is?
My hair's like 3 inches shorter. I got a haircut. I got some new shoes. I sprained my ankle twice.
Damn, you gotta wash that shit.
My ankle's a little puffier now than it used to be.
Got some weak ankles, my guy.
I think when I first got out here, I was just like, first of all, I was really overwhelmed, and second of all, I was really unemployed for a long time. And I kept having things come up, and then just as quickly as they came up, they would vanish.
Yeah.
And it was really fucking frustrating. And just being able to deal with that, because like I had a similar situation happen to me like last week, and if it had been last September, I would have probably felt crushed. But like, I know that there are great opportunities that would come even from a rejection. Like again, like everything leads somewhere, and all of those rejections led me to a place where I am able to like book my friends on a weekly basis, which like, honestly, I could definitely complain, but I won't. Like, I could be doing a lot worse in terms of like what I'm doing. But I think I'm just better at dealing with like just negativity, both from myself and just like from the outside world, and like managing that.
Well, I feel like not just LA, but LA is this compressed version of it, but you learn how to find utility in any situation, because you can let any situation feel like a bummer and get nothing out of it, and then it really is just a negative situation. Or you can find utility in it and hopefully do a little better next time, or make different decisions, or make a different turn, or whatever the fuck it is. There's something in it that's useful, and if you don't take that, then you're kind of just a bitch to the situation, because you're going to keep getting eaten alive by the guilt that comes from something not working out, versus you being able to use it as this new tool in the toolbox that decides how you make decisions further on.
Yeah. That'll be utilitarian.
Utilitarian, yes, sir. So I need to do something real quick because this is very important to me. So everybody bear with me for 2 seconds. Trust me, this will be worth your time. So Ethan, also known as Aristotle Jones, has a talent.
We're doing this?
Yeah, we're absolutely fucking doing this.
This could be 2 things.
Hopefully. No, the one that we're allowed to say out loud. All right. Hopefully people can see this. So Ethan has a talent where he can name any flag just by seeing it. He can name what country it is.
It's true.
It's fucking bizarre. And I probably spend 25% of my time with him doing this. So everybody, this is the flag. Hopefully this is an actual flag. Ethan, what is this?
Granada. Easy, bro.
Let's get a couple more.
Come on.
Because it's so, oh my God.
Don't try me.
I need to find one that doesn't have, okay.
It's a useless fucking talent.
It's not though. I find so much.
You know
good out of it.
those parts of like airports where they got all the flags? I'm really good right there before you go through security.
What is this?
That's not a country.
That's not.
Nah.
I said I
What
looked
the
up.
fuck is that, dude?
No, I looked up
You're on
most.
Reddit right now.
I looked up most unusual flags. Hopefully this is one. I can't tell
That was
you.
like some,
Probably should have had these ready,
some
but
fan fiction shit.
is this one?
That's Mozambique.
It's unbelievable.
The only flag with a gun on it.
I guess that makes sense.
Fun fact.
Let's get one more on here just for fun. Hopefully this is a real flag. Everybody, this is it. And
I don't think that's one either.
God fucking damn it.
I don't know what that is. Oh, the one under it is Comoros, though.
Oh my God. It's my favorite bar trick and I can't even do it. What's that?
Kiribati.
I don't even know what the fuck that place is.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. How did you learn this again? It was a long airplane flight?
Yeah. I was on a flight to Brazil one time when I was like really young, and I downloaded an app that had all of them. And like by the end of the flight, I had them down.
What's the best reaction you've got to this talent?
I don't know. It's funny. There have been situations in bars where just like very drunk people keep like showing me them, and I'm just like kind of sitting there like, yeah. And they just like kind of freak out. I don't know. It's like, I don't think it's that impressive.
You got to start betting some money on it.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah, just go up to somebody at a bar, some drunk person, say, hey, I bet you $20 I can name any flag that you pull up. And they're going to say, fuck you.
Any country.
Or any country. And then they're going to pull it up and you're going to get it and you're going to start making some money out of that too.
I feel bad though, because I won't miss. Like, I know I won't.
Why would you feel bad?
Like,
That's a talent.
that's not even a bet. I'm just hustling people.
Would you
at that
feel
point.
bad getting paid to go up there and rap?
No.
There you go. So why would you feel bad using another talent of yours?
That feels like entrapment.
Fuck, so? Whatever. You're here to make a
Nah,
dime.
you're right. Nah, I need to start scamming.
I'll fucking start betting them that you know the money. Or
It's
you know
like
the flags.
Fucking White Man Can't Jump. But it's like us in dive bars with flags.
Dude, we should start going and hustling.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I have nothing else I can hustle, so I'm bringing you with.
Yeah, I got nothing.
So when can we expect to have some music in our ears from you? Some new music?
Hopefully definitely within the next 2 months.
You guys heard that. We're going to keep them accountable and make sure that happens because
I got shit done.
it's damn good.
Like it's done. It needs to be out.
Clearly you have cut your teeth. You know what you're doing. It sounds like, and it looks like the most comfortable place you are in the world is on that stage.
I've actually cut my teeth.
Have you?
How
does that work?
I was performing this show, this cover show, one of our residencies, and it's like a 3-hour show, and I would probably go through like 9 or 10 beers during it. Shout out to the Burn in Somerville. You guys gave me so much beer. I'm sorry. I probably put y'all in debt. But I was just like up there performing, and I took a big swig, and I was like, oh, weird, and it knocked out like the whole front of my tooth, like right here.
Fuck yeah.
So I have cut my teeth performing, technically.
Damn. So you're really involved with the process.
Yeah, I swallowed it too. It was really, and I just had to keep going, like nothing happened.
Man. Well, I'm a fan. I'm excited that I get to also call myself a friend. Let's do this again in 2 months when that song's coming out or that EP. And everybody, look up Aristotle Jones. If you can get out and see him live, I will bet my career that you will not be disappointed. And that's a big thing to say because I've worked my ass off to get here. And you'll be able to see very quickly that so is he. So I appreciate you coming on. I'm glad we finally got to make this happen. I've been on the biggest hiatus I've had in 3 years from this. And it's nice to be back, and it's even nicer to be back with friends. So
Fucking go.
Aristotle Jones, everybody. I love you all very much. I appreciate you watching. Remember to like, subscribe, do all the other bullshit that every YouTuber wants to tell you. And we got another episode coming at you next week. Brother, thank you very much. And to everybody listening,
I'm Aristotle Jones, and this is an experiment.
yes, it is. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Goodbye.
Fuck y'all.